Hey guys, so today I'm going to introduce to you another project that you're going to be working on. This will be kind of a side project while you're working on your logo design, and it actually uses a lot of the same skills that you've learned so far in Photoshop uh, with a few little twists on it. So you're going to be finding a black and white photograph off the internet. You could also, just as a challenge, if you wanted to take a photograph from home, maybe that's a picture of your grandparents or something that dates way back, you can certainly do that and scan it and use that, but you're welcome to use a picture from the internet. And so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be turning that into color. And we're going to do this by creating a series of hue and saturation adjustment layers. Now we've done this before. There's a little twist to what we're going to be doing this time, and that is that these hue saturations are going to contain a mask that you're going to be modifying. And so I will be walking you through that in this short video tutorial. So before I start all over, I wanted to show you just a couple of quick things. So each of these layers I have named. So if you look at the layers palette, I have a separate layer for the hair, the little girl's clothing, the skin, and then the little boy's clothing. And each one of these, this symbol here indicates that it's a hue saturation adjustment. And when I click on that, I can modify the selection. So I can always go back and change that to a different color, saturation, etc. And then notice that this little box is checked. When we go from black and white to color, we always want to make sure that we select that with the adjustment layer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete what I have done here, and we're going to start from scratch. So the first step is you're going to create a new adjustment layer. So we're going to go again to the layers menu and the layer menu and select new adjustment layer, and you're going to choose hue and saturation. We don't need to clip it to the previous layer because we only have one image layer, so all of these adjustments will just sit on top. There's no need to clip it. Okay, and then we're going to click that button that says colorize. And to get started with, I want to choose, I'm going to actually work on the girl's dress first. And so I'm going to choose somewhere in that blue zone, boost the saturation a little bit. And there we go. Now we have a little problem, and that is that it's affecting the entire image. Now if you look at the layer mask, currently the layer mask is white. And so to get started, we're actually going to double click on that so it is framed with white. And this menu will come up, and we're going to click invert. Okay, and what happened to the mask? The mask turned black. Now, if you think back to what a mask is doing, a mask blocks out a section of the paint of the area if it is black, and if it's white, everything will show through that mask. Okay, so we're going to click invert to change it to black, and then we're going to paint directly on the mask. So once again, we want to make sure that we have white paint. And to change that on my keyboard, I'm going to click X on the keyboard, and I'm just going to start with my brush, which is selected, painting on top of the dress. Okay, and then you'll notice that I definitely need some cleaning up. So if I hit X on my keyboard, it'll change to black again. The black paint will help me to erase out those areas I don't want. Okay, now you can definitely still use a selection tool like we've been doing, select on the area and then paint. But the kind of the fun part of this is that you're getting to actually paint directly onto the image. So I want you to just focus on probably painting. Okay, so we've got that area pretty much taken care of. And again, if you turn this on and off, you can see that we have that hue saturation adjustment. We can go back if we double click on the color to adjust the color slightly, and you'll see the masked area here. Okay, so to recap, we double clicked on that mask in order to paint on it, and to make the image show through, we painted with white. So you can see that directly on the mask. Okay, and we're going to continue to add more hue saturation adjustments. Again, the same thing. Each time you want to make sure you click on that background layer. You're going to go up to layer, new adjustment layer and choose hue saturation. Click OK. Click on colorize. We're going to double click on the mask and we're going to click invert. And again, we're going to double click in order to paint. Okay, this time I'm going to choose the boys' clothing and it looks like it's going to paint in red. Okay, so you're going to continue with this with several different hue and saturation adjustments. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of cleanup, and so that means we're going to go back to one of the layers where I see some areas showing through. So do you see how there's some blue on the skin? So that looks like I'm going to have to go back to the girl's dress layer, and I'm going to need to remove that area from the skin. So we're kind of like we're erasing it, but if you remember, the area that's black is blocking and white is showing through. So we're going to mask off. We're going to add to the mask. So we're going to click black with the X on the keyboard and just go over those areas along the edge of the skin. Okay, and remember, since black is going to add to the mask, you can't really, overextend it. So even though I'm painting here, this is a different layer, so it's only going to add black on the mask where that girl's dress is, so it doesn't affect everything on there. So if I go to the hair layer, there's a little bit more cleaning up to do. I see some areas over the ears that I missed, and then again underneath here I want to clean it up. So we don't want him to look like he's got gray hair. Poor little guy. Let's get that nice brown tone coming through. Okay, now I kind of missed out one really important part of the photograph, and that's the popsicle. So that's kind of clearly the focal point. So we're going to add one more adjustment layer. And again, I'm going to layer. It doesn't say that up here, and I'm sorry for that. I cut it off through the video. So we're going to go layer, new adjustment layer, hue saturation. And again, I'm going to invert. And I'm going to bring this one to the top. So I'll go ahead and name it right away. And we're going to call this popsicle. And we're going to colorize. And we'll just go ahead and paint on it first, and then figure out how we want to make changes to it. Okay, so it's kind of a funny looking caramely color, and so we'll go ahead and click on that, change the color, brighten it up, make it look really yummy. I'm going to darken it a little bit too. So there you have it. So the last part is just kind of the tweaking of details. I would zoom in as you're working just so that you can see really clearly where one shape ends and another begins. You do not need to paint the entire photograph. But just show some thoughtful decisions about what colors you're going to be using. So in terms of deadline for this, I will let you guys know when I get back. I just wanted to give you a project that was kind of fun to work on the side as you are in between things, or if you finish up with your sketching for the logo design early, this is your project. So have a great rest of your week, guys, and I will see you on Tuesday.